Welcome, y'all. We back with the Squid Games Aftermath podcast. I'm your host, DeAndre, aka Player 288 in the building, and I'm here with the special. I'm about to choke over here because I just ate some chips. I'm here with a special guest. Player 321 Laverne is in the building, all the way from the UK. What's going on, Laverne?
Well, absolutely delighted to be catching up with all the Squid Game shenanigans. Unbelievable.
Hey, she's delighted to be up in here, but it's about to get real hot and hostile. In a fun, safe way. This is a safe space for all of us to talk and get at things out that we have been holding back for the last several months. But yes, so I'm gonna get right into it, Laverne. Why did you decide to apply for Squid Games, the challenge?
Well, everyone in a family has a crazy sibling, and my sibling is more crazy than me. And she really loves reality programs. And she came over one day and said, "Hey, Laverne, let's go on this program," which was where you can win a bundle of money at the end and you travel from city to city on a budget. UK program, and I think it's in America as well. So I say, "Laura, you've got a husband and a 10-year-old. It's not going to happen." But she says, "Let's apply." So I say, "Okay." So we apply. It was pre-COVID. And then I forgot completely about it. And then a friend of mine from primary school got lymphoma. And she's an osteopath, super intelligent person, and was really feeling the kind of avalanche of a disability. But I'd wanted to learn how to sail. I'd just been made redundant. I was feeling a little bit kind of grim. And I thought, I'm going to do something to cheer myself up and do something out of my comfort zone. So I decided that I was going to learn to sail in Croatia. And my friend said she'd come along because on this particular training scheme, if you didn't feel like training, you could just sunbathe on the yacht. And so we said, let's go. And that was Croatia. And on the way there, I got the email to say, could you provide an audition? Well, I mean, I was sat in a coffee shop at the airport. We thought it was hilarious answering the questions. It was a bit dark, a bit noisy. She said, "I know, why don't we do the audition on the yacht?" I said, "What a brilliant idea." So that's what we did. But, that was how it came about. But why I applied, I just thought, you just have to say yes to things in life and just embrace them and just say, I'm alive. And having been made redundant, just completed my master's, I thought that would save my position in my workplace. I spent 2 years juggling family, looking after my mum, getting really good results in my master's, UCL, lovely university, but I was made redundant. So although I could understand why, it kind of upset me and I thought, what should I do? And I was just kind of taking jobs here and there, relaxing, not really wanting to commit to a corporate 9 to 5 because I'd worked for an investment bank for like 12 years. I'd been raising my kids, I'd been looking after everybody, and I thought, why don't I just say yes for something for myself for fun? And I'd designed the prototype for a virtual reality experience to reduce anxiety on my master's. And I really wanted to raise the money for that because I think there's so many unhappy people in the world that just don't know how to be happy. And if I could incorporate technology for good, I thought that would be wonderful. So that's why I applied.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, wow, like I need to give you some claps for all those things you just named and accomplished. Like that's insane. I mean, yeah, you definitely. I agree with you on, you gotta look, you gotta think for yourself sometimes. You kind of put others second to you at certain moments and points because if you're not happy, nobody else gonna be happy. So you gotta just, let yourself grow, and then you'll be able to help others grow just like you have. So that's excellent and amazing. So you apply for Squid Game, and you eventually get the call that you are accepted. And so months pass and whatnot, getting the process ready to go, and it's the night before. Well, you don't have to get on a plane, but the night before that you are going to leave for the show, what is going through your head?
I just didn't want to make a fool of myself. I think that so many people that you don't expect to behave badly, suddenly their character falls apart. and I didn't want to be one of those people where you fall apart. I'd already had to say to my kids, look, I don't know how it'll be edited. I don't know how I'll be portrayed. I don't even know when it will be live. But, you know, if you do read anything, any trolling that's really horrible, can you handle it? And they said, look, Mum, just do it. You know, I think you should do it. So I was relieved somewhat, but I had some apprehension as to what I'd actually signed up for. I don't even go to the supermarket without lipstick. So to go into a program where no hair products, no makeup, I just thought I'm going to look 100 years old. So that was my biggest vanity call, really, the night before.
She was worried about the looks. I mean, the looks are important. You got TV cameras all on. You got to look right. So I understand. I don't wear makeup and nothing like that. But the ladies, I definitely was feeling for y'all because y'all had to really expose yourselves like that. And it was, it was also, you had to deal with the game, but also that was a game in itself of like mentally being in it because you just don't feel like yourself when you don't get to prepare like you can at home. Unlike most shows, you can take what you need to get ready, and this one was just nothing of the sorts. So you get there, take a drive down the street to get to the hotel. And how far are you from the hotel, actually?
I'm not very far, about half an hour away, 45 minutes.
Okay, so you look, this is not even that much of a trip. This is something
But it was still, normally I'd be hopping on the tube to go to work, do my everyday thing. This time it's different. The people look different around me because I feel like, not that the whole world's looking at me, but it's a different experience from when I leave my house with my little suitcase, say goodbye to everyone, and that's it, I'm on my way.
Yeah, she's on her way to win this money. So we get to the hotel, you do your thing out there, and so it's time to get ready for the first game. So the night before the first game, when the next morning they say wake up, this is when we start. And what are you thinking then?
Well, as you know, we were all confined to our spaces. We couldn't go anywhere. We could just come out and eat, not to communicate with anyone. But surprisingly, they left the TV in the hotel room, which I was quite surprised at. So thank God for YouTube. I found YouTube and the song to Red Light, Green Light. So I was pacing up and down, trying to learn how many beats it is to each kind of murmur, all of that kind of thing. It was kind of silly, like if someone could see me marching up and down in our hotel rooms, I probably looked pretty ridiculous, but that's what I was doing. I was trying to get into the zone.
She was getting her game face on. Okay, she was practicing. I was not. I was watching like Pocahontas and Disney movies in my hotel room because I was trying to get my mind away from everything. So that's funny. I probably should have did more studying, but hey, I just wanted to surprise myself. But I saw Squid Game, so I kind of knew it was coming. So we get on the bus. It's time to go very far away to this cold place that I never want to go back to. And we get in there, and so we get in the tent, and you can see from afar, you can see the top, it's going to be red light, green light, just based off what you see. You can see a little bit of the set. And so when you first walk in there and you see the arena, what are you thinking?
I just thought, oh my God, that dolly's big.
That is true.
And also, it was so intense because everyone's really hyped up. And I've run a marathon before, half marathons, but when I did my first half marathon, it was like I couldn't run. I was scared that I wouldn't be able to run. And it reminded me of when I did my first half marathon, where you don't know whether you've got, control over your body for that first kind of alarm to move. Also, there was a lot of people in front of me getting really angry in front because they wanted to hold their position. And, you couldn't sabotage anyone's game by bumping into them by accident. So I was just trying to navigate whether I was going to go straight, whether I was going to go on the diagonal. Was there anywhere of safety that I could, imagine? And it was freezing cold, which the program doesn't really give justice. It was bitterly cold. But if people go back and watch it, they'll see that everyone's got their hands in their pockets.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wish they would have had a thermostat on there on the television set just to show. I just want to know like the exact temperature, the exact
Yes.
time frame. I just want to know these numbers. I haven't been sleeping well until I figure these out, and hopefully they get released because they've been releasing some things, BTS things slowly but surely. But I need those out. Everyone knows it's cold at this point, y'all. Just release the tapes.
Yeah.
I'm saying this in every video. Release the tapes. So we get in there. It's freezing and whatnot. What's your strategy going in there? You said you were trying to think if you want to go in diagonal or straight, and we did the practice round. So when it's time to line up and the doll's about to, the doll's about to sing, what's your strategy?
Well, I knew that we had our body packs on, so any movement were eliminated. I decided I didn't want my hair to shake because I was so cold. So one of my strategies was to tie back my hair to make sure there's no room, limit the room for error. Also, I feel like I want to be near the wall. I want to crab walk along the wall. That might be a good starting point. So that was my idea, to kind of be as still as possible and just get to the wall. If I got to the wall, then maybe I could hide somehow.
Yeah, no, the wall I think was a great idea for some because it's like let me try leaning on a wall for 10 minutes and see how I'm feeling. So maybe I didn't go near the wall, but yeah, I mean the walls. I look great from afar. I will say that it looked like you could relax a little bit. So
No, you couldn't relax because I got to the wall, but not in a comfortable position. So I was sort of wonky against the wall like Elephant Man, and I had to hold that position for, I wish it was just 5 minutes. It was 5 hours, 5 to 7 hours. So we were holding that position, I estimate, at least 20 minutes each time. So that was really uncomfortable and icy cold down one arm.
So the walls are cold? The walls are pretty cold?
The walls are cold and the floor's cold.
Yeah, I didn't know if the wall was going to be as freezing as the cold, but I should have assumed. I mean, I was on the floor, so I felt the floor full effect. Surprised I didn't get sick. But player 3, 2, 1, she's making her way down round by round. She's passing. She's getting there closer to the end. When you see the finish line in sight and it's within your grasp, what's going on in your head?
Well, there was a girl next to me, Lou, who's amazing. And I said under my breath, I don't think I can make this. She said, I'm going to go for it. So I said, so am I. So we just gave it all the strength we could to get across the line. We didn't know if we were going to make it or not, but I don't know if I could spare it for longer than necessary. But it's so intense. I mean, I gave birth to both my children at home. No gas, no air. But that took me to another level, that game, because you had to get into some kind of mental condition that whatever was happening with the elements, they weren't affecting us. You know, we were like the Argonauts. We really were. We don't look as strong as what we did, but anyone who got through that game, we should have got a little medal, because I've never experienced anything more difficult. And as I say, I gave birth at home, no gas, no air. And that was another level for me.
Ooh, dang. So y'all at home who's watching TV and watching this, just think about that, especially, y'all with children, y'all ladies with children. That's a lot. I mean, I don't know what that feels like. So if I can do red light, green light, I'm thinking, look, if I need to have some kids, I can do it. without some gas. Dude, you are a trooper. Player 3, 2, 1 cross the finish line unscathed. She passes to the next round, and she has her eyes set on the $4.56 million. So when you cross the line, what are you feeling right now?
I was just so relieved, because my dream was just to get to the Squid prison. Everyone was talking about Squid prison, and you just wanted to get there. It's like getting into the Big Brother house. If you just did the game and went home, all of that build up, I don't know how many emails we received and phone calls and check-ins and tests. To finish there would be so disappointing. But to sleep at, Squid prison, even for 1 second, I just thought that's amazing. So I was just delighted to get across the line. But I was amazed at how many people were crying. because it's just a relief of just getting across that line. And it made you so emotional because, and it's stupid, not stupid, but the intensity of being stripped of all of everything you know, how you dress, your job, your family, your friends, all of those have gone. So for once in your life, you're surrounded by hundreds of people that you don't know. We're all in an ordinary space, like we've all got equal vying position for that $4.56 million. And I don't think that we'll ever be in that position again, to be surrounded by ordinariness. Even ourselves being ordinary, it made you feel really, really vulnerable in a way that it was like a gift. No one will be able to be that ordinary ever again.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was a very, I can't even describe the feeling. I'm at a loss of words. You're hitting a nail on the coffin. I mean, the feeling is unlike anything you can explain or felt or feel often. Honestly, what it felt like was when you're a kid again and you like accomplish something great in your eyes as a child. Like maybe you won a pacer test in school, or you beat someone in a video game. And when you're a kid, your emotions are like through the roof because it's like, yeah, like when little kids like screaming like in euphoria. That's kind of what it felt like, and reverts back to the whole game where it's this child's game. And
Yeah.
so that's the best relation I can remember. You felt kind of like a kid again, honestly.
Except, and a couple of the contestants said to me, "Wow, Laverne, your kids must be so proud you got through that game." And because when we went into the Squid prison, it was like everyone was sharing birthing stories. They'd say, "I lost my shoe. I was in this position. Oh my God, when I sat on the floor, I lost distance." You heard it in so much detail that dormitory was full of conversation, condensed for like hours and hours, just about that one game. And I just found it incredible. And so someone said, "I bet your kids will be so proud." And my eyes started to well up. And I thought, I really am immersed in this game. I need to snap out of this because my emotions were already heightened. And, for all of us in some way, as you say, like a kid, we're suddenly different people because we hadn't experienced that feeling of accomplishment to such a degree since we were children.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I keep saying to this day, I haven't had a feeling like that in a long time. So maybe I need to do something like that again. I better bet some money next time. So we make it past. You make it past, and you go to the hotel. And then it's time to go to the dorms. So when you first step into the dorms, what's kind of going through your head?
I just thought, wow, wow, wow. I've never seen anything like it. And everything felt exaggerated. Even the bunks were big and they were high. And all the references on the tiles around the place, it just felt like magic. Like, what is going to happen next?
100%. And there was, honestly, not too many dull moments in there. It was always something going on. I mean, yes, we were tired a lot too, just because of the environment, but there was always somebody there to talk to, somebody to be around, somebody, you can open up to, because there's no judgment. We're all wearing the same clothes. We're all viewed the same thing. Nobody has phones or anything. So that was the coolest part, I think. So it's time the guards come out and they announce that 2 players have voted one out. Are you thinking you're one of these players that's voted out?
Yeah, suddenly you're very conscious that it could be you. Like, who's out? Who could it be? Because we've only just arrived. What is the category? What is the deciding factor? So suddenly the game starts.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a high tense moment. Our friend 200 sadly has to go back to wherever he's from in the UK. Mofi, great guy. You're losing one of your UK people. Y'all already falling apart. I don't know if there was a UK alliance on the first day or something like that, but yeah, so he has to take an exit from our screens, and so we get some time in the dorms, but then it's time for the second game. And everyone, we assume what it's going to be, and it's as is Dalgona. So we walk into the white room again for the first time. When you enter that white room, what are you thinking?
Everyone's rumbling. It's a cookie game. It's a cookie game. It's a cookie game. But it doesn't feel like the right environment for the cookie game. Is it really the cookie game? You know, it's luminous white, and you just feel a bit more exposed. We're in a space that we haven't been in before, and there's kind of like this random column 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, my friend Lou, who I bonded with when I crossed the line, she's at the front of number 2, column 2. So I think, why don't I just go down and say hi to Lou? So I say, Lou, what are you doing up here? She said, 2's my favourite number. I said, okay, I'll stay behind you. So that's how comes I ended up there, because in a way, I would have been through to the next round if I hadn't been such a socialite that I am, and a chatterbox. I would have been at the back of the line and through to the next game.
You were in the room early though, right?
No, I was in the room late, but because I saw my friend at the front of the line, I thought I would go up and chat, have a little bit of small chat. Cost me 4.56 million, that conversation.
Blame your friend Lou for getting in the front. It's his fault.
She owes me.
Yeah, she does. She does. Well, you decide to get near the front, and as we soon find out, the first people in line are sent inside. And to our surprise, they go into, well, not really that much surprise, they go into the playgrounds. And so they tell them the rules. They have 2 minutes to decide how to figure out which player should get each shape, and they tell them it's up to them to decide. And so when you see this going on, and eventually what transpires is, so everyone puts their hands on a shape, and in my mind when I see this, I'm thinking, okay, the one guy without the shape, he's either eliminated or he has to take umbrella because he was the only one. What were you thinking in this moment?
I just thought it would be the first line to decide which column has which cookie. Everyone's going through to the game, and that's how they're going to decide it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was straightforward. You'll all choose a cookie, and tickety boom, next game. You know, we're into the game. That didn't happen.
Yeah, no, that didn't. They threw a curveball at us, and all of a sudden, Thanos snapped his fingers, and they're all eliminated just like that. So when that happens, what's going through your head?
I just think, well, we know what can happen. So there's no way that's going to happen to our line, because we all know that, to be fair, column 1 should have the circle, column 2, I think it's the triangle, and so on and so on. The 4th column, bad luck for you, but you'll get the umbrella, because it's the most fair way of choosing a cookie.
So there's 2 contrasting thoughts, especially from people who are in the circle line and umbrella line. You know, as they say, like what you just said, 1, 2, 3, 4. We should just do the line because that's the way it was presented. That's just the game. However, they did propose a situation to where it's our decision. So what about the rules that they presented? You know, does that not take effect at all?
Well, I was very conscious that we had to agree, but because the clock was ticking in the background, I also knew that column 4 had been fired up by the contestants behind him saying, don't take the umbrella, don't take the umbrella. We were all being brainwashed, don't take the umbrella. So there was a lot of pressure on all of us not to take the umbrella. No matter what, don't go back if you're on the umbrella.
Yeah, so no, you can see it on TV. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So when we went in there, I thought it would be not rock, paper, scissors, but I thought we'd just agree in a gentle way, like adults. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She thought it was going to be that easy. But, well, what they don't say also is they told us specifically in the first group, you are not allowed to play a game. I wish they would have shown this on TV, because then we could have just easily done rock, paper, scissors and been done with it. I think everyone was in consensus agreement with that. I don't know how the rock, paper, scissors would have done. I don't know if it was like, you know, a tournament style where 2 people do it and then the winner has 2 people get it. So I was thinking like that might have took a while, you know, like, and then people wanted to do 3 out of 2 and all that stuff. And we just had to make one game. One game, 2. Okay, the winners, one game, and then the loser. Like that, the problem would have been, I think, who's getting circle, but who's getting triangle and star,
Yes.
because you got to do multiple rounds of that, and how are you going to delegate
Yes.
that in a quick way? So
Yeah.
that
So
at
I
that point,
was.
it would, no, go ahead.
So when I went into that area, the three guys, they're like gladiators. They've decided they're going to run against a woman, a mature woman at that.
We'll go back real quick. We'll go back real quick because I'm one of those three guys in here. So we'll go back real quick. We gonna go back real quick because you probably the first and only one that I'd speak to in that line, and I'd spoken to before. Before we got in the line, I remember speaking to you. We spoke the day before for a little bit, and we got acquainted. I have not talked to the other two in there, so I don't really know who they are. But yes, we walk in, and it's funny. So the first line, they said they were all, the mood was completely different. They were walking in there giving fist bumps, happy, like, okay, this is gonna be fun, guys. Like, we're gonna go in here and do this. They thought it was gonna be hopscotch or something like that. And then when we go in there, it's like no one's saying a word to each other. Ultimate silence, like very tense. And I didn't know if we could talk or not, or else I would have said something to you at least, because I like side-eyed you and you didn't say nothing. And I was like, I don't know what she's thinking. Because the thing is, we just met. We talked for a good
Yes.
30 minutes or so. We got acquainted. So I knew who you
Yeah.
were for sure. But it was just like all the trust went out the window. I feel like walking in there. I was like, hey, she ain't giving me no smile. She ain't giving me no thumbs up. What were you thinking on the walk in there?
I just felt like I was going to be railroaded because I heard I think it was the magician saying to him, "Don't take the umbrella. See that one over there? Just move her aside." And I just thought that's not fair. So I was feeling a bit vulnerable when I went in there. So I felt determined that I was going to stand my ground no matter what. In my head, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and anyone can try and push me around, but I'm going for my number 2 column.
Yeah, no, everyone there seemed to kind of have a very strong head on their shoulders and very determined. And that was all our kind of mindset. So we get in there and we'll do 2 versions of this story. Do you want to tell a story, your version first, or I can tell my version first? I'll let you.
You tell your version first.
Okay, my version of the story, because they did not show the whole thing on TV, which I don't know why they didn't. It's 2 minutes. You can show it raw footage. The footage they saw, you could see from the White Room. I think that's the best footage you could possibly use because it looked like it was already edited because they were doing jump cuts from the cameras.
Yeah.
I need them to release those tapes. But I digress. So my version is we get in there, it's quiet, we walk in a minute, and then I start talking first. I start talking first, and I was like, hey guys, the 2 people who were fighting over Star and Umbrella, you 2 guys need to figure it out between you because my line who picked circle, and then the other line, I don't know which one picked star or triangle. They picked theirs first. And so you guys needed to finish off we need to finish what the first group started with their precedent was. And that quickly got shut down. Nobody was listening to what I was saying. So we were debating back and forth. Somebody said, oh, we should go in line order. Then I was like, no, I'm not doing the line order. I shut that down so quick. And then there was a little bit more chatter about, just pretty much nothing. Like, it was just like, it's coming with ideas. But then the guy, I forget his name and number, he proposes a race. And we look at each other and we're like, I said, okay, that's fine, because it's like a minute left at this point. Like, we got to hurry up. And he says, yes. I say, yes. Everyone agrees to this race. And on my version of the story, everyone agrees to this race. Very rushed, I might add. Very rushed because we're running, the clock is ticking. So we get there right when we put our hands on the thing. He says, 3, 2, 1, go. Real quick. Takes off. I wanted to just stop immediately, but the pressure, the time's clicking, because that wasn't fair in the least bit. And I wanted to stop too and say something like, well, it's not fair. The race isn't fair either. But like I said, high tense pressure situation. You have a clock ticking. If it was 5 minutes, I think we would have figured out something easy. But the 2 minutes just goes by so quick. And so we get there. He gets to the circle first. I get to the triangle. And then the other Kevin, I think his name's Kevin, goes to the triangle too, but then he's late, goes to the star. And then you decide to come up to triangle. And then I step over to circle. I get off triangle, and then I'm like, look, you gotta go. It doesn't go. So then I stay on triangle, and then I move down to star. And I'm having a discussion with our friend at the star. I say that very kindly. I say that very kind. A discussion. I didn't want to get too reckless on camera. Let's just say that. And so, we're arguing, and I was pretty upset just because, what we agreed upon wasn't there, and then the clock runs out. Boom. That's my version of the story. So you go ahead with your version.
My version of the story was that I thought the fairness was 1, 2, 3, 4. Having proposed a race when I was already on my chosen cookie meant that I had to concede because we all had to agree how we're going to select them. So I lost time. So I march over, reach you guys, and boom, you're gone. So I just thought that's not really fair. Anyway, 3 guys against me. They're much faster, fitter, younger. But anyway, so I'm determined to have my cookie that I think it was assigned to me by God. And so I'm on my cookie and I say, I'm not moving. And by rights, really, umbrella guy, whoever should have got the first cookie in my head's order should have stood on the first cookie and not budged. So then it would be down to the one that shouldn't really be on the non-assigned cookie to take the umbrella. Do you see what? So that everybody. What I mean is, if it was in order of 1, 2, 3, 4, those that if they'd gone to their assigned cookie shape 1, 2, 3, 4, then the one that was in the wrong place to mess up the order, he would have been obliged to have taken the umbrella because otherwise the game would be over.
But if that's the case, then why do the race?
Well, that's because he proposed that race, but I thought it was unfair. That's just my take on it. My take on it was the race was unfair, and so therefore we should have defaulted to 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's a game, so we've all got our own idea of what the rules of the game are.
Yes, no, definitely. And in my head, I was thinking we can't do a race in my head initially, but the clock is ticking. And
the clock is ticking.
Factor is the clock. Like if they give us even 3 minutes, I think we figure it out.
I think it's just the pressure of that clock that you just can't make. It kind of is paralyzing because the clock is ticking. And
So you think so agreeing into this race, did you feel like you were rushed into agreeing into it, and you agreed to it by accident? And so when it was agreed, do you think like, well, I should go to umbrella or no?
No. I thought I'm not going to the umbrella.
Okay, that's completely fair. So yes, I think and what happens. We don't agree. Boom. But in my head also, I think I was thinking like, okay, they didn't listen. I didn't get listened to in my idea. 1, 2, we did the race. I'm already moved all the way down to star at this point. I've sacrificed twice. I've sacrificed. Somebody else got to do it. And that's what was going through my head. And at the end of the day, I thought, Kevin, I was looking at him dead in his eyes, and I thought he was just going to run an umbrella because I was like, he ain't going to die. And I was just counting. You see in the camera, I was counting down like the time. Because at that point, my mind was made up because from my point of view, I've done everything I can at this point. And our lines, unfortunately, I wish that our lines weren't able to get into our heads, because ultimately that was a big factor in everything with everyone, not just me, and with everybody.
Yeah.
And I think we all would have came in there a little bit differently mentally. And, of course, after seeing the first group out, we know what the stakes are. But with everyone, you getting a million things in your head, they're not worried about them.
No, not. Can you excuse me for 1 second? 1 second.
But they was not worried about us. They was worried about them. Therefore, they made the decision very hectic on us. And I will tell you.
Sorry about that. I just had to go to the front door.
No, you're good. So yes, what happens. Now, if you could go back and we get, and say as soon as time goes out, we get eliminated. Now, if you could go back to the time we're about to walk into the room, what would you do differently, or would you do anything differently?
I don't think I would do anything differently. I would stick to my cookie.
Would you not propose a different idea or a different solution to the problem?
I don't even know now what would be a fair decision. I would try and say, look, let's just be fair, guys. Let's just agree, stick to the columns. Then we're all winners.
I'll say no. No, we're not. No. No. The thing is, look, we're not all winners, because the fourth line, look, if it was just given to us and that's a line, I'm fine with it, you know? I'm fine if I lose the race. I'm fine if I lose whatever thing we decide to do and I have to pick that. I'm fine with that. But if I agreed upon something and then I'm sacrificing, I can't do it anymore, you know? So me, this is what I wish I would have done and I would have done in the past, and I will forever do from now in the future if I'm ever faced with a dilemma, anything similar to this, is when we walk into the room, I would have been like, hey guys, we're not all gonna agree. Nobody wants the umbrella. I get it. This is what we need to do. We need to all point at somebody who we want to be a leader. A leader is going to decide everyone's fate in this line and about what shape each person picks. It's a social strategy game. So whoever you pick, hopefully you think you have good relations with them and it's on their shoulders to decide the order. That's the only quote unquote fair way I think it could have been done without playing a game.
But then there's four of us. And say I chose you, someone chose me, someone chose someone else. We haven't got a leader.
So we'll all just switch one more time. Everyone pick. We'll just keep doing that until we find one leader. Like, it won't take super long to find a leader. Like, I think people will, if somebody, the thing is, yes, you'll get eliminated if there's one stubborn person in there that doesn't pick a leader. But if everyone, I feel like everyone would agree to something. I mean, would you agree to something like that? Like, if we point to a leader, then they'll decide.
Well, not after seeing the way that guy was being programmed to kind of resist the umbrella. You know, it was kind of like, it felt like it was already been decided outside the room what their strategy was. So I don't know if I would trust the leader.
Well, the leader could have been you.
Well, if they chose me, I'd agree.
Oh Lord! See, that plan wouldn't have worked with you either. Oh Lord! The thing is, you would. So say the leader was the guy in the circle line, and that was it. Would you? And he said, we all agreed upon it, and he said, unfortunately, you have to pick the umbrella. You wouldn't go to the umbrella?
No, if a leader appointed it, I'd have to go to the umbrella.
Okay.
Because in a way, the pressure was on us to make the right decision. It was so intense. But by appointing a leader, that decision is taken away from us. So you could accept it even more easily.
Well, we'll make the decision to create a leader. Like, that was our thing. So I wish I would have said that, and we all pointed to something. I would have pointed to you.
I thought you were a nice, kindly guy. I thought of the three of them, I felt like you would be fair. The other guy on the circle, no.
Yeah, no, he wasn't listening at all. He had his own agenda. I mean, I could kind of see that from the get-go. But yeah, I wish I would have done that. I feel like Kevin, the one in the star line, would have agreed to that. Numbers circle 5, maybe, but I feel like at that point, okay, we assign a leader, and then they decide the shapes, whatever it is. You could do we're gonna go in line, whatever, or we're gonna do my order because this is my friend, this is my second friend, and this is the person that I'm not closest with. I feel like I don't want to say foolproof. It's not foolproof, and the only problem is if somebody gets umbrella, they're like, well, that's not fair, and then we're back at square one. Yeah. So, but honestly, the truth, I thought about it. I thought about it a lot, and I was like, that's the only solution in my head that anybody could agree to without quote unquote playing a game. I don't see any other. Oh, I'll just take it. Oh,
yeah.
Like, there's nothing else. So I think you need a leader. Just like the thing is, in every other game outside of ours, there was a leader deciding what happened. In warships, there was a leader.
Yeah.
In the tests, there was leaders. In marbles, you picked a game. You had 20 minutes to pick a game. So it's like, 20 minutes compared to 2 is nothing. So I just wish that we would have had that idea came up with, or that that rule was presented. Like, you guys in each line, even the first line, you need to pick one person as a leader, and then that person in the first line pick what shapes. So I think that was a drop ball because that would have been entertaining, I think. I mean, yeah, sure, ours was entertaining too, us arguing, but
Yes.
for my sake and your sake in the game, I 100% would have went with that strategy. I would have pointed at you. I think Kevin would have pointed at you, not that you knew him at all, but I feel like he would have pointed to you just, you know, because the ladies, like ladies, I'm not pointing to the guys. And you would have, so if that was the case and you had a decision, you ain't got to be biased just as I'm on here. What order would you have picked if you were the leader in that situation?
I would have chosen you because I felt like we'd kind of connected and I didn't know the other guys at all. And I wasn't sympathetic about the guy, who had his own idea and own strategy. So I would have thought, if we're going to appoint a leader, I would have appointed you. I would have hoped that you would have stuck to the 1, 2, 3, 4 order because it was simple. If I'd then got the umbrella, well, how would you assign the cookies if you were the leader?
I feel like the leader would be the default circle. Like, you're the leader, so I'm going to pick circle. Like, I think that was a given. I mean, I wouldn't blame anybody. If one of them two was the leader, they have the right to choose circle, and then the rest is up to if you know me or not. And they didn't know me, so they might have the 1, 2, 3, 4, So
yeah,
I would have took that. I would 100% took that.
It could have been so different.
It could have been different. It could have been a lot different, but I think I just wish we didn't have the pressure of the other people telling us all these things, because that got in my head heavily. And then 2, I think that give us like a little more time, like 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, as I've watched the other episodes, I've thought it could have been me. It could have been me, in the boats, playing all the other games. But like you say, it's a game. And there were a lot of unexpected curveballs in there that you just thought, wow, I didn't know they would make that decision. So you just don't know.
A lot game of chance, right place, right time, all those things combined. So you are eliminated, as well as myself, and you get back. So you finish everything else. You get back home. How you feeling when you get back home?
I feel kind of elated. I feel like I was in the, I signed up for Squid Games. I was selected. I met some amazing people. I'm sharing a WhatsApp. It's still feeling quite live. It's quite exciting. And it's like a little secret you're carrying around, It was it was fun, an amazing experience. Yes, it was disappointing not to carry on with the game, but I felt I was a peripheral person in there. There wasn't a strong narrative. There were so many contestants. I thought, really, even if I'd got through many of the different tests and games, I may not have been visible. So in terms of our visibility, I think we had a nice little, it shone on us for a little while. And even those that got through the games, all it was a nod or a, fist, there wasn't any real getting to know those characters. You just knew that they'd got through the game. So I thought we had a little kind of a moment to say we took part in Squid Games.
No, definitely. Out of all the games, red light, green light, Dalgona, marbles, if you caught up to those episodes today, and warships, our elimination actually was like, you really got to see each of us kind of like solo and like up front and center. When like other people got eliminated in other games, it was like just the group, okay, you guys are out,
Yeah.
It wasn't ultra dramatic unless it was going through a main character of the show. So definitely we got a shine on. I mean, we got, more airtime than a lot of people that's got really far in the game, which I was surprised about. I mean, I know somebody who made it all the way to top 31 and they're like, you got more airtime than me. I was like, well, I mean.
So I kind of think it went the way it was meant to go.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Even if I could say to my mate, even if I got far into the game and I said to my mates I was in Squid Games, they could blink and I'd be gone.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 456 people. So if you could stand out a little bit in front of all those, then I think, you're a winner in some regard at that being said.
Yeah.
You are a winner, Laverne, regardless of our dispute during that one time. I know I was hot. And if I hadn't apologized for my behavior, I apologize now. I know I wasn't. Look, I was very distressed. I don't know what was happening.
No, I think it was all good. I was disappointed. Umbrella guy, he refused to kind of have lunch with us, to communicate with us. He took it very.
So I was Umbrella. I was in the Umbrella line.
Oh no, sorry. No, not in the umbrella line. The one that refused to take the umbrella,
Oh yeah,
or
no,
the guy that could have saved us all. Put it that way.
oh, you're talking about Kevin. You're talking about the white
Yes,
dude.
yes. I was quite surprised at how he'd taken it so personally, and was, very, very proud, and just couldn't communicate with us after that. So it affected him quite badly. And it's just, the program is intense. Nobody can really grasp how intense the program is, how you are just gripped in those moments, and it's quite paralyzing. And you don't know how you're going to respond. So I just think the Squid Game designers of that game are brilliant in that way, that they can railroad us, take us on this roller coaster.
Yeah, no, 100%. They got me in for a loop, and I was not expecting none of that stuff. I thought it was gonna be the games, and that was like they were gonna add something extra, but I thought it was gonna be like skill based or
Yes.
something that you could not control, but not that you were just out. I didn't think that was gonna be the case, but I mean,
Yeah.
I was wrong. But hey, Laverne, I appreciate you joining me. You are beautiful. You definitely are a go-getter, and you definitely made an impact on a lot of people in there and whatnot. Are there any parting words for the people before we get up out of here?
I think if anyone has an idea that they want to do something, you just say yes, and things happen.
Just say yes, y'all. Come on now. You heard it here first. You preaching, and it ain't even Sunday. Come on now. Well, Laverne, I really do appreciate you coming through here. It was nice to catch up and chat for our first, well, not first time. We just talked earlier today, but talk again because you were one of the few people in my line, and so that was kind of an experience that we'll all kind of like specifically have of that particular instance because it was very tragic and scarring for a little bit. But it was
It's memorable.
yeah, memorable. That's a better way to put it. Memorable. But yes, I appreciate you a lot for joining me, and I hope you have a good rest of the day, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and blessings. We out.
You too. Thank you so, so much. Pleasure.